emotions which are running through me today. So many things that I wish I could tell him. My father and I were very similar people, besides the height thing. We both love animals. We're both impatient, stubborn, demanding, but fiercely loyal to the ones we love. And while I wasn't blessed with his musical talent, he gave to me the love of music, and especially the love of hard rock, which has enriched my life more than you can even imagine. I guess it's inevitable when you grow up, and the first bands you hear are Elf, and Rainbow, and the greatness of Black Sabbath. And as I grew, whenever I would listen to a CD which really excited me over the years, the first thing I would always think is I gotta call Dad. Because I knew that he understood more than anybody else in the world exactly what I was feeling and why. You know, there was a time when I was losing my faith in hard rock several years ago. It seemed like all the new bands were playing the first two strings on the guitar and making careers out of it. Posers. And then a band which I really love, a band called Down. They released their second CD called A Bustle in Your Hedgerow, and it completely restored my faith in hard rock and what a band could achieve when it really believed in something. And I called Dad, and we talked long about that masterpiece and what it meant to me. And I think that he really loved the fact that some of these bands were so important in my life. Bands like Black Label Society, and Clutch, and Nightwish, and so on, because these were all bands which played from the heart and had integrity, which quite frankly was every band my father had ever been a part of. Secretly, I'd always wished that my dad would have done a collaboration with Dime from Pantera.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Of course, this was before, too, he was stolen from our lives. I agree. Because I thought that fusion would have been absolutely epic. And I think they are doing that collaboration right now above us.
Yeah.
Whenever I would talk to Dad over the years, we would always invariably move to sports because Dad loves sports so much. And just like my dad, sports are always on in my household. He'd always talk to me about the Yankees. And I'd always talk with him about the Yankees because I tolerated his love for the Yankees. But we were a couple of typical macho, sports-loving guys. And sadly, we didn't talk about the things which truly mattered enough, like how much I loved him, or how wonderful my family is, and how my children are growing before my eyes more quickly than I could have ever believed. We were losing time so quickly, we didn't realize it. And it seemed like there would always be tomorrow. But cancer came and took tomorrow away. And now all I can think about is how much I want to tell my dad that I love him. You know, long before my dad was diagnosed with cancer, I'd begun my own war against this insidious disease. I watched it ravage family and friends for years. My daughter's classmate was stricken with cancer in only the second grade. There were so many times we thought we were going to lose her. Miraculously, MD Anderson saved her after 3 years of a long, long struggle. A good friend of mine from high school wasn't so lucky, and she lost her toddler son to cancer. The tragedy of losing your child, something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and something which I know all of us can't even imagine. Cancer, when it took a child that young, enraged me so much that I took the fight upon myself that I would never give up hope that we would conquer this disease. But now it has taken my father. In cancer, this means war. The truth is that so many charities which purport to battle cancer are sadly dysfunctional, inefficient conglomerates which spend almost as much time and money on administration as they do on fighting the damn disease. I'd like to believe that pharma companies are spending as much time behind the scenes as they are promoting hair loss treatment and ED on television. But the battle begins with us, no matter what. Cancer doesn't want you to know the statistics. It doesn't want you to know that most cancers, if caught early on, are easily treatable. The impetus is on all of us to get screened regularly, to treat our bodies properly. Many of you here today are musicians and love musicians, and I beg you not to make the mistake that my father made. For Dad, the show always had to go on. He ignored the warning signs for years, and all along the cancer was growing and mutating from something which was probably easily defeatable into a monster which even Dio couldn't slay. So if not for you, then for your loved ones. Take a moment to think about the sadness you feel today and how sad your loved ones would be if this were your memorial. It's easy to put off the doctor's appointment, to bury our heads in the sand like an ostrich, ridiculously thinking that those preying on us cannot hurt us if we cannot see them. The worst thing your doctor can say to you is not, "You have cancer." No. The worst thing your doctor can say is, "I wish you would come in sooner because we could have treated this." You must defend yourself because we are at war. Get yourself screened, eat right, stay active, and live to see another day. And Dad, I love you.
One more time, a round of applause. Dan Padavona. Dan makes so many incredibly great points in his tremendous speech, and one of the things that us closest to Ronnie knew was that Ronnie fought this so bravely. I remember calling him a number of times while he was ill, and the first time he answered the phone, and we had a wonderful conversation, and it's a conversation I'm so happy we had, especially on a day like today where we told each other how much we loved each other, and I told Ronnie that I was there for him whatever he needed, and I was so down when I called him and so bummed out and sad and on the verge of tears, and after talking to Ronnie for a few minutes, he had just gotten the news about his cancer. He lifted me up. I had called him to lift his spirits, and he lifted me up. He said, "Kid, we're going to beat this." He says, "I'm going to slay this dragon." And the bravery and the way he lifted others around him right up until his last days is something that I think is really important that point gets out today to everybody. It was truly remarkable.